On the last day of hunting season, a young woman was killed while walking her dogs in the woods. Police assumed it was an accident, but a handwriting analysis, a ballistic test, and an unusual physics experiment led investigators to ask the question, just what was the hunter's target? The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is 16,000 square miles of sparsely populated woodland. It's quiet and usually safe. And found her on one of the trails in the woods.
70705. We have a hunting accident at the end of Cherry Lane off of M38.
Judy was dead from a gunshot wound to the chest. It appeared to be an accident.
Somebody called me. They told me about it, and well, my stomach just sunk to the floor. Felt like it. That's, oh my God, no.
Bullets from high-powered rifles can often travel 3 miles or more.
And every now and then one comes down in the wrong place.
Neighbors said they heard a rifle shot just after 2 p.m. The investigation was hindered because the bullet that killed Judy could not be found in the brush.
There wasn't any bullet. I did find an older bullet, and it was underground, and it was slightly corroded, and that was turned over, but it was determined that it was probably not the projectile they were looking for.
But they did find evidence of where it hit after killing Judy.
I think they noted that particular night was a blaze mark or a scar that a bullet might have made on a nearby tree.
Judy had been married to her husband, Bruce, for 14 years, and they had a 3-year-old daughter. Bruce worked as an insurance adjuster, and he said he had an alibi for the day of the accident.
He came up with somewhere around 28 different individuals that he thought might be able to produce alibi for him on that day, starting at about 8 o'clock in the morning and going all the way till 6:30 at night.
Bruce was angry that his wife wasn't more careful.
And he was more or less critical of his wife for not wearing orange that day when she went in the woods. To me, I thought this was way out of character for this type of situation.
Bruce made several more unusual statements about his wife, and investigators were starting to wonder whether Judy's death was really an accident. Within days of Judy Moylanen's funeral, several friends noticed that her husband was behaving strangely. One said he made sexual advances towards her.
Asking me if I wanted to live with him and asking me if we could be more than just friends and those types of things. It was like, my God, your wife hasn't even been dead for a couple weeks and he's saying these things, you know.
And there was another bizarre incident. After the funeral, Bruce gave some of Judy's clothing to another friend, Gail Lampinen. And among the clothes was a letter.
It's addressed to her, and it's allegedly from the victim, Judy Moylanen, signed Judes, which was Judy's very personal nickname, and Judy did not know Gail very well. She only had met her in passing like once or twice.
When I read the letter, I stood in the kitchen, and I think my first thoughts were, what the heck is this?
And it basically said, I'm having problems in my marriage. Bruce and I are growing apart. He's got his things, I've got mine. Please help him find, somebody else, one of those things. And for me, the kicker was the PS line, which was, but he's great in the sack.
And just thought it was bizarre that he would be writing something like this.
Gail told police Bruce behaved inappropriately towards her in the months leading up to Judy's death.
Bruce really turned up the heat, and he was becoming a stalker, is what it boiled down to.
Well, he started coming over here and calling the telephone a lot and invite us to go skiing or do different things, and we wouldn't go with him.
We were finding out that there may be a little bit more to Bruce Moylanen than what his family knew about.
To see if the letter was authentic, police took it to a forensic document examiner.
And I was asked to compare.
Earlier, Judy was hit on the head by a large chimney block that accidentally slid off the roof while Bruce was on the roof repairing it.
And that accident darn near took Judy's life. She was lucky that she survived it.
Another time, a fire broke out at the Moylanens' home while Judy was home alone sleeping. Fortunately, she woke up in time to call the fire department.
But she kept that quiet. She only told, I think, one or two people about that.
It was just weird. And again, weird doesn't equal guilty, but it certainly lays the foundation for murder and motive.
And Judy had over $300,000 worth of life insurance when she died.
In 1992, here in the UP, it's a lot of money.
Bruce also told Gail about the insurance money and what she described as his clumsy attempts to seduce her.
A lot of times he would try to tell me that he was going to be financially wealthy, to the point that he could quit his job and just work with his animals.
It didn't take us long to know something just wasn't right. This wasn't just an accident.
That may have been the understatement of the year.
She was somebody who very much cared about other people and would do anything for you if she could.
When 35-year-old Judy Moylanen was killed in a freak hunting accident, her husband Bruce had an alibi for the entire day. But police found a witness who reported seeing Bruce out hunting that day alone, which contradicted his alibi.
He had people that he claimed saw him around 2:30, 2:15 in the afternoon, but when you get right down to interviewing these people, some of them couldn't even substantiate that they saw him.
He could not cover a time when he was in the woods, and there was no witnesses that could say where he was at that time.
To determine whether this was an accident or murder, police needed to find the fatal bullet. It was still somewhere in the woods, but police couldn't find it. Investigators found what looked like a scrape mark on a tree about 40 feet away from where they found Judy's body. Scientists applied sodium rhydizonate, a chemical which turns purple at owning any of these rifles. But in the couple's financial records were loan papers of a recent bank loan, and Bruce's gun collection was listed as collateral.
We found an asset list in which listed a gun he failed to disclose to us, a .30-06 Savage 110 rifle with a scope, and that was consistent with one of the weapons that could have shot that bullet. So that right there was key to us.
Bruce was hunting, but he wasn't hunting deer.
He was hunting for his wife.
Prosecutors believe Bruce Moylanen tried once before to kill his wife. A year earlier, while Bruce was on his roof making chimney repairs, a cement block mysteriously fell, hitting Judy on the head. Judy survived the incident. And they also believe Bruce started the suspicious house fire as another attempt on Judy's life.
It's really mind-boggling that this guy could do something like that with his wife and his infant daughter sleeping in the house.
Prosecutors say Bruce waited until hunting season for his next attempt, and he hid in the woods, waiting for Judy to walk the dogs. The bullet went through Judy's down vest, her red cotton shirt, then hit a tree and ricocheted into the woods. Even as an experienced hunter, Bruce probably never imagined that someone with a slingshot would find the bullet.
He was telling us something that only the person who was there doing the shooting could know.
He also revealed his motive.
What's everybody's motive for murder? I think it comes down to money, greed. He had $320,000 worth of life insurance on his wife.
He said that Judy was a tyrant at work and she was a tyrant at home. He said she was a bad cook, and he ended up doing most of the cooking. He told us that he didn't want to go through a divorce because Judy would get half of everything, and he didn't want to give up his assets. And that was Bruce's downfall. He was cheap.
Bruce Moylanen was arrested and charged with premeditated murder. Despite his confession, he pleaded not guilty at the trial.
He made an excuse for the confession, and basically it was psychologically coerced. He was tired.
And you will hear how he took that gun and he scoped her in and he pulled the trigger that caused the bullet to kill Judy Moylanen instantly.
Prosecutors showed the jury this police recreation of the cinder block incident. Bruce claimed he accidentally knocked the cinder block off the roof with his foot. The recreation